One's good, one's bad, yeah, they're really always like this. We don't know who's who, but at least we know who Mike is. They love to complain, they got sports on the brain, and they frequently drive each other insane. It's the good and the bad and the Mike. The good and the bad and the Mike. The good and the bad and the Mike. It's the good and the bad and the Mike.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Good, The Bad and The Mike. As always, I'm Oisin. That's Cian. And that's Mike.
Hello.
I did panic for a second when there was silence there. I was like, not again. Because that is the second time we...
Oisin, you're a bit touchy-goey here.
Oh, I'm not a fan of that.
No, you said I'm Oisin, and then it started to break up, and I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. And then you came back in at the end, and I was like, oh, it's okay. Good.
That's not great. I don't understand this either, because we spent like half an hour just chatting beforehand, and it was pretty much fine.
It was fine, yeah. I don't know. It's weird.
Anywho, as you all know by this stage, we didn't have an episode out last week because of scheduling issues. We were going to put one out.
Time difference.
And then there was some issues. We weren't able to.
Some of us weren't ready for an hour time change.
Yeah, some of us were like drastically over optimistic about their abilities to record last weekend.
Not naming names.
Yeah.
Some of us were also up for more than 24 hours straight.
Exactly.
I mean,
underestimated your ability to record.
That wasn't our fault. We were like, are we going to be able to record? And some of us were like, oh yeah, no, I'm fine. I'll be in the hotel. I'll be fine. It's like, all right.
I'm not gonna lie. I honestly thought I could, but then I was thinking when I was like, user testing. I don't know if I can make the key in 20 minutes. I'm on my way. Oh god, I wouldn't last.
So we decided to push back last week's episode and just we've got 2 weeks of news to catch up with in this episode. And then later on, we're going to discuss. We're going to do a bit of a preview for the Formula 1 season because that's starting next week in Bahrain.
This week.
Well, yes, this week, next weekend, the coming weekend.
Yes, the concept of this and next weekend just irritates because people use them very weirdly.
Yes, that's fair.
Anyway.
It's a whole other topic. It's a whole other.
It's a topic we can get
into. It's a whole
into.
other
Right,
episode.
that's today's episode. Is the this and next debate.
When do you use this versus next?
Is there more doors or windows in the world, or what's the thing? Doors or wheels? Doors or wheels in the world.
Currently, I'm on wheels, but I'm open to be.
I think wheels is accurate.
Mike, thoughts?
I'm not gonna get involved in this.
Putting you on the spot here.
There's enough. Yeah,
we're moving on until you answer.
So what I'm hearing is Mike does team doors.
That's what I'm hearing too.
Team wheels. I'm gonna go wheels.
All right. That's a fitting answer, given that we're talking about Formula 1.
Which are cars that don't have doors.
Yeah, but they do have plenty of wheels. But first, let's go into the news.
Oh yeah, we should probably do it. Yeah,
we'll start with that. We tend to start with that, so we'll continue to start with that. Mike, let's go to you first.
Alright, so since we're going on news, I'll go for here's a contender for Banter of the Year.
Very early for contenders Banter of the Year,
but it's pretty solid. During Liverpool's match with West Ham, a plane flew over the stadium with a banner saying "Cats' Lives Matter." This is an obvious reference to West Ham defender Kurt Zouma.
You'd love to see it.
I thought that's worthy of a nice, and is a nomination I'd like to put forward.
That's fair. We take those.
It's great to see a play go over that's not someone's getting sacked.
Yeah, that is true. There's a lot of those, but it's nice to see people mix it up a bit.
Exactly.
Cian, what have you got?
Big developments on some stuff we've talked about recently. We talked about Ireland and the UK set to host Euro 2028 or have a bid for Euro 2028, Well, it looks like they're going to win by default, as Russia and Turkey have both pulled. So default, we're the only next like week or two.
That is the best way to win, to be fair.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
Win by default.
Until it's last minute Qatar.
yeah.
Qatar, suddenly
Not even in Europe. Yes, it is.
It is now.
I don't know. Also have an update to a story we discussed in our last episode, actually, because this came out the day after recording. The day that we posted the last episode, I believe, is Jesse Marsh is now Leeds manager.
Oh,
Yes.
Just a quick caveat there on our last episode is that I thought that he was still at Leipzig, but actually they parted ways with they mutually parted ways last December as things weren't going great. So he's now at Leeds. Who, I mean, they won against Norwich.
They did.
Today.
They had a crucial game.
They lost to Villa. I mean, since he's joined, they've lost to Leicester and Villa, and they beat Norwich. Did you see how they beat Norwich today, actually? Just as a quick
No.
aside.
no.
They won 2-1. Norwich equalised in the 91st minute, and Leeds
Damn,
scored
no.
a 94th minute winner.
Oh, filth.
It's some
Pure
serious Ted
filth.
Lasso things.
Yeah. So yeah.
Do you think Norwich were like, okay, take the point, take the point, take the point? Everyone go do it. No,
100%.
take the point, take the point.
Mike, let's go back
To
to
be fair, Norwich could have done with a point there.
Norwich. Really could have done with a point there.
Yeah, so I know we talked about it in our last show. Russian side Spartak Moscow were kicked out of the Europa League, meaning RB Leipzig got a bye into the quarterfinals.
Great for them.
Wait, what happened?
Spartak
Russian-
Moscow were
Moscow.
all Russian teams essentially
Yeah.
were kicked
I
out of
missed who he
UEFA
said. I just heard
competitions.
him saying
Yeah.
someone got kicked out, and I hadn't heard. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why they buy. Should they not just give it to the team Spartak Moscow beat and just say you go in instead?
Well,
That
what
was
did they do?
scheduling.
a tough one to do. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one.
Because the games hasn't started. It's not like the legs have started yet.
So
Maybe they
who
have
got it
now
and why did
since-
they get it?
Leipzig were just given a bye.
Right, because
Essentially.
they were supposed to play Spartak Moscow.
Oh, I get you. I get you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, it,
I think Spartak Moscow did.
but
they
I
win
get
the
Maybe.
your
group?
point. Because obviously, I would assume UEFA would want to play the games because obviously they'd lose out on money, so they probably would have looked into that as an option.
I think it's too awkward because Spartak Moscow won their group. So if you just take them away, so you'd have. I think actually I was reading that. So if you just take them out of the table, then you'd have Napoli first, Leicester second, Legia Warsaw third to drop down to.
No,
the
but there was
Conference
a
League.
round before. Was
But
there
then
not a
if you
round
took them
previous?
out of, if you took their results out, then Leicester would win the group, I think, and Napoli
No,
would
no.
come
Actually,
second.
there was a round previous to that.
How do you mean?
They did a round after that group stage, didn't they? So you had Barcelona v Napoli. Barca won that group. It went into the next
Yeah,
round.
no, but that was that was the playoffs as well. So yeah,
Is it
this is
The Europa League playoffs as well.
yeah, it's the same.
Oh,
So
wow.
like the first place got a bye, and then that was the round of playoffs.
Ah,
So
Did
if
not
you
know
just
that.
took them out of, and
Yeah.
put Napoli top of the table, then they wouldn't be in the playoffs. But then
that
they
that
played the
makes
playoffs.
sense. Yeah.
So there was no other way to do it.
I think you should just give it to Sheriff. Just say, all right, Sheriff, you're back in.
Oh, 100%. Let's give the fans what they want.
Give us
Except for
more
the fact-
Sheriff.
Except for the fact that their manager might be fighting in Ukraine at the minute.
Man's got to do
That
what man's
might,
got to
you
do.
know, yeah, might cause a little bit of concern, but that'll be alright.
Keane, what else have you
Or-
got?
yeah.
I was trying to remember who was
Yeah,
up next.
building up on one that we did. Yeah, that's well done, Ashley.
Thank you.
That we had maybe the last show. Yeah, so after 99 days, they finally have an agreement to the Major League Baseball's collective bargaining agreement, and they finally sealed it. And my favorite thing about this whole process, and I don't know why this is, I think there's some weird thing that only the commissioner is allowed to give updates. The Players Association is not legally allowed to talk about it. None of the players are legally allowed to talk about it. So while this whole thing is going on, the commissioner, I think Rob Manfred's his name, just kind of gets up on a podium every couple of days and goes, "Yeah, the players are greedy. The players want more money. We give them more money, and the players are all like, no, we want even more money. So blame the players. They're the reason the baseball isn't going ahead. It's not our fault. It's the players." So like all over social media, the fans are going annoyed. They're like, "Oh, the players are millionaires and they're greedy and they want even more money, and they're the reason they play a kids game for a living. They should be happy with what they're getting." And not causing us all now to miss baseball. And they're like, that's not how any of this works. But for I don't know why, but for whatever reason, the players and the Players Association can't actually correct them, and they have to go with that, which is really fucking weird. That part is
pretty fucked up.
makes no sense. But yeah, they made some interesting changes. They upped some of the bigger ones. We talked about the universal DH last time, so that's obviously in it. They upped the minimum salary now for younger players, which is good. And I think the more interesting one is the postseason now. It's 12 teams in the postseason. So that's all seems good, yeah.
When does the new league season start?
April
No.
7th, I think they lose about a week. I think they signed it yesterday or the day before, and I think by tomorrow or the day after they'll be in spring training, and they need about a month's worth of spring training. So it'll be, I think, a week, maybe 2 weeks delayed from the original opening day was supposed to be, I think, the 31st of March.
It's not
So
a huge delay, to be
they
fair.
lost about a week, I think. No, and if David worked out that they will get into the season, they won't be losing out on games. They
Yeah.
have to add in a couple of extra, what they call double headers, where they literally play 2 games in one day. So, mad.
Yeah.
I have another update on like a story that we had previously. So it was announced or reported by ESPN this week that Novak Djokovic is out of all US events due to him being unvaccinated.
Oh my god. The war against Novak Djokovic continues.
Who thought that at this point we'd still be talking about it? But here we are.
America's entered the fight.
America. But somehow on the right side, didn't think that would happen. That's a
Big
surprise.
shock.
Yeah.
Let's see, Mike, what else have you got?
Alright, here's one that'll make Keane feel old, because it's already made myself feel old. But Maximo
Me with your rhythm
Carrizo
stick.
has become the youngest recruit in MLS soccer history after he signed his first professional contract at age 14.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Yeah. Because when you said
The
youngest, and I
midfielder
was
was
like,
born in 2008.
oh my god.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Because I was like, when you said youngest MLS player, I was like, he has to be really young at 14. Because
Yep.
wasn't Freddie Adu 14 when he signed? Maybe 15?
How are they allowed to
So-
sign professional contracts at that age?
Midfielder
Like,
was born
is
in
it-
2008, joined New York City's academy
don't know.
system in 2018 at the age of 10, after initially
Well,
impressing
I don't
with
know,
his
Like, is
local...
it a pre-contract so that essentially it guarantees he becomes professional when he
I
reaches 18 or whatever?
I think it's more maybe more akin to like a youth contract in America and here.
Maybe.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but
I don't
don't
know.
they go through draft system as well? So
They have both routes.
no,
So you can sign with them as a youngster, but then you can also go into the draft.
go via draft.
Yeah, like the draft in MLS soccer, like even the best players are still nowhere near as good as the other players that they have.
Yeah,
They tend to be, I think, because the better players just skip college.
yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, that's quite a shocker. 2008.
Jesus.
Christ.
So he's one to keep an eye on for the future.
He is
Next
definitely a
Freddie Adu.
football manager
hell.
talent.
Oh, percent. Be signing them next year. Football Manager 2023, whenever that goes on sale.
I mean, 2022 still hasn't gone on sale for you yet, so.
I know, I'm really annoyed. Actually, can you buy the game again?
I mean, I could.
buy
Technically,
it
you're
again?
able to buy it
Just
as
so
a
it doesn't
gift for
sell.
someone, but
Oh
no.
my god.
All right, let's see. What else have I got? There was some pretty huge trade news in the NFL last weekend and this week. Russell Wilson
Yes.
moved from Seattle Seahawks to the Denver Broncos. Russell Wilson and a fourth round pick. My apologies. And in return, they
right.
got 2 first round picks, 2 second round picks, a 5th round pick, quarterback Drew Lock, defensive lineman Shelby Harris, and Noah Fant. Tight end. What a man. Pretty huge trade.
Yeah.
I mean,
First big blockbuster trade.
blockbuster is the right word for it.
Mm.
And like,
Thank
You can like
Russ
Russ
on
now.
the move.
I don't know if I want to like Mr. Unlimited.
To be fair,
Mr. Un.
sorry,
Yeah,
Russ, not
Unlimited.
only just for bad things, but you've had him in fantasy as well for the last 2 years.
Yeah, that doesn't mean I have to like him.
You
Yeah, that's a good point.
I've had Cristiano
strictly
Ronaldo in my
business.
fantasy team before, and I don't like him.
Oh, you should. He looks real sad.
Strictly business is right, Keen. But yeah, pretty huge blockbuster trade.
Yeah.
I mean, like the 3 players are
the-
no, like they're not terrible players that they sent over either.
No.
No Fant is still quite young.
Well, block a little bit.
Hey. Well, I don't like him anymore now. He's a Seahawk.
You have to hate him now.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to like him.
Once he
Yeah.
moves again, it's fine though, because like I really like Richard Sherman now, but because he played for us. But if he were to go back to the Seahawks, fuck that guy.
I do feel like the Seahawks got a lot more than they gave up.
Oh, 100%.
Like I don't think like it's the type of trade you have to make when you're ready to win a Super Bowl, and I don't think the Broncos are ready to win a Super Bowl, but they gave up so much that they're not going to get much better
Well, the talk
as a result.
last year was that they were a quarterback away.
Yeah.
And that they didn't get a quarterback, but then they also lost Von Miller
I
and a
think
couple of others, I think.
Someone was saying
They
that
have
he's
a
out of
solid
contract and he might
defense.
resign with them.
yeah, I think they are they're up there now because
I think they're,
they
they're
have
definitely a lot better, but I don't think
they
they're
haven't
contender.
what's the term they use here?
Very tough division though.
It's a
very.
extremely tough division. But they have a sneaky good offense. A lot of weapons.
Yeah, they have a lot of good pieces.
And they have a decent all round defense as well.
I think they'll be a very good team, but I think they're still like 1 superstar to 2 superstars away from being active contenders.
They're one of the teams I had money on to win the Super Bowl last year, I think. None of the teams that I put money on made it to the playoffs, but that's not the point.
That's very fair.
Mike, what else have you got?
Well, while we're on NFL, it was another big
Just
story that
actually,
happened.
sorry to interrupt. I just quickly looked up the Super Bowl odds for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Broncos are in 5th at 12-1,
Jesus.
tied with the 49ers. Only the Bills, Packers, Chiefs, and Rams are ahead.
Interesting.
Bills
Maybe I
are
need to look
favourites at the moment.
more into their team. That doesn't surprise me.
Anyway, sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, you're alright.
Browns. Sorry for interrupting you again. Browns, Patriots, and Colts are all level on 25-1. Sorry, I just noticed that. I just thought you guys would like to know. I've
Is
closed
Michael
it
allowed
now,
to
so I won't
speak
notice
now?
anything else. Back to you, Mike. I'm sorry.
Okay. So it was a big story that happened a few weeks ago as well. Was the NFL have suspended Calvin Ridley for the entire 2022 season for
Yes.
betting on games while he was on his
His leave of
was it-
absence.
Yeah, leave
His
of
medical
absence.
leave.
Yeah, approved medical
Yeah.
leave,
Yes.
which I think is a bit harsh, considering that certain other players, so like if we take Rodgers for instance, who died of his COVID status, endangered not only his team, other teams and all, was just given a 1-game suspension.
No. Yes, I should.
No, go on, Keen.
I was just gonna say this is a much bigger issue, kind of because if he does it and he gets away with it, this could lead very easily to what he's done is essentially insider trading. It's legal insider trading, where he has far too much knowledge and should not be allowed to bet on things. That's the one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is if he can get away with it for most of last season and certain people find out, it's super easy to get into match fixing, and that's not anywhere you can even go near. So they kind of need to throw the book at him and feel all like, oh, this is something we need to take very seriously. I think maybe a year suspension is a bit much, but I
agree with the suspension, but it was just a whole year was just, I found there have been other cases. I just use Rodgers because that's the last one I remember. There have been assault cases and all this, and it's just a slap in the wrist sometimes.
Yeah.
That I just found it strange that they should go heavy on this.
I was
they
going to
need
say
a bit more consistency.
I agree that it seems kind of harsh, but I also understand why they're essentially making an example of him so that no one else does the same thing. Like I get it feels kind of harsh because he was on his leave of absence. He had no impact on the games. I don't even know if they were Falcons games he was betting on, but like
you have
to.
Falcons in one parlay, as far as I know. He had Falcons on one parlay.
They do have to like throw the book and make an example of him to show that they really aren't gonna. They're not gonna tolerate anything like it. I saw he said he only put on like $1,500 throughout the year.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a lot of money.
What did he say? He broke up.
He said he only put on $1,500. He didn't have a gambling problem, but like that's a lot of money.
Yeah, but it's
not for him.
Definitely not a gambling. Yeah, it's not a gambling problem. 100% not.
So
no.
There's a funny side to this story as well, though. When news broke that he got the full season taken away suspension, a shit lot of Eagles fans started posting and tagging the NFL saying Jalen Reagor was also betting.
Yeah, I did see
in
that.
hopes of getting him suspended.
Wow.
So
love that.
You know you're a fan favorite when your own fans are trying to get you suspended for the year.
Yeah, that's oof. That's an oof and a half. Keen.
Yes.
What else have you got?
Okay. Well, record-breaking news here. So there was a penalty shootout in English 10th here not too long ago. That finished 25-24. Finished 25-24. The clubs Washington and Bedlington are believed to have created history on Wednesday night when they had a record-breaking penalty shootout. Yet Washington prevailed after a marathon shootout that saw 54 penalties taken and 49 scored.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they won 25-24 on penalties. Broke the record from 2005, where there was 48 kicks taken in a game in the Namibian Cup, which finished 17-16.
Jesus.
Like, at least there was multiple misses, not like the...
Yeah, that's just that one, one miss.
Yeah. After, like, was it 22 perfect kicks, and then as the Chelsea goalkeeper missed...
21 perfect kicks, and then Kepa skies it.
Some set ball still in the air.
So fucking funny.
Sorry, Joe, if you're watching. Listening, even.
Speaking of Chelsea...
Yep, I was about to say we're going to bring this up.
Yeah, probably should.
Came out during the week that Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich was included in the UK's list of sanctioned people. So Chelsea have been given a special license so they can continue to operate, but they will not be allowed to sell any more tickets. So only season ticket holders can go to games for the foreseeable future. They're also not allowed any merchandise sales, no transfers or new contracts. But good news, catering services will be permitted.
Oh, thank
I know we were all a bit worried about that one. But that's pretty huge news for Chelsea.
There was more than that. I heard that 2 days ago. Their credit card was also ended.
Their what?
So that caused huge date. Their credit card, their Barclays credit card. So their day-to-day spending was frozen.
Oh my god!
Interesting. You know, actually, that's something that you just never really think about as like a team's day-to-day spending.
Can you imagine them going into Aldi, picking up some stuff? I was like, oh, he works for Chelsea. Brings out the black card and it gets declined.
Oof. But I only bought this pack of bourbon.
Actually, okay, I rescind that statement. Nobody associated with Chelsea Football Club is going to Aldi. So he's going to Waitrose and gets declined.
M&S.
M&S.
Yeah.
It might be going to Aldi now, though.
Yeah, their money might still be good. They're just printing out, I know, and handing them in to the cashier.
Like, I know we're laughing, but there is a huge possibility that they go into administration.
Yes, if they go into administration, they will be docked 9 points as well. It was reported. Which I mean, in the grand scheme of things, 9 points isn't huge.
Conor McGregor, the club.
What was that, Ken?
I heard bits of it. I didn't pay attention too much.
People were getting real, and it was like, yeah, he's done last year, but not, enough to buy Chelsea well,
But they're not able to sell it now anyway. They were gonna.
Yeah, no, this is a while.
Right.
That kind of
I mean, they're trying to.
I think they had a couple of American
changed so they can
set up or looking for it. But yeah, that could be.
As far as the Saudis are kind of annoyed they didn't wait a couple of months and they may have had Chelsea.
Yeah, damn, we're stuck at Newcastle.
Ew. But yeah, no, it's from what I saw is they can't even.
They just have to pick up the used match day programs.
Yeah, so it's the only tickets that are being sold are the ones that have already been bought by the season ticket holders.
Yeah, they're not selling it, which means they're not selling tickets.
Not selling, yeah.
Would they be allowed then to just hand them out for free?
I don't...
Technically,
just get people into the stadium.
Technically, they can.
So.
Yeah, they can, but would they...
And then they sell it. Fuck. They charge chips at like 70 quid.
Actually, no.
You're allowed it if you buy a packet of chips.
No, because that might actually cost them more money letting them go free, because then they'd have to pay more stewards, which they can't pay already, because they can't pay anyone.
Okay, but voluntary stewards. Yeah. You're like, we'll let you to the stadium as long as you wear this yellow jacket.
But to be fair, they are, I believe, also allowed to continue paying their current contracts are still being paid. They're just
Well,
not
no, they have to be
able to.
obliged to play, but I don't know where that money's going. Because I thought I heard when I said the credit cards were all suspended, that was also stopping payments.
I doubt they could
because
actually do that.
I don't think so. I
they're
believe like we were talking about this
maybe.
previously, and that they still are able to.
Yeah, that would put like a lot of hardship on people who work for
I
Chelsea,
know.
and the UK government probably wouldn't like that.
I know they're allowed to get their revenue money, but that cannot be spent on wages. Yeah, be interesting to see what happens.
Um,
And they
Yeah.
will, they won't they?
Mike, back to you.
So, let's see how it's on this old Chelsea bandwagon. And I think I'm all out.
I think
Yeah,
I'm also
all
all
out.
out.
Let me just double check. I think my only remaining news is Formula One news. We're getting
mean,
into that.
I got.
But
I
that's
guess
your
Aaron
transition
Rodgers
right
got
there.
his mega payout.
Oh yeah.
That's
Did he
about
actually?
it.
I got really confused by that because I saw it was reported originally that he did, and then he came out and said, "No, that's fake. I haven't actually signed anything." And then I saw it
Really?
reported again that
Really?
he
I
did,
didn't
and I'm
see
like,
that at all.
Yeah, I
I
thought
only
I saw
did
that
see once it
he's
said-
in, and that they've also
Yeah.
just franchise tagged Vontae Adams. So Last Dance last year was not the
Yeah.
Last Dance. It's
um,
just happening again.
He's getting the band back together.
Yeah, except they're gonna have to let go of like 8 or 9 people just because we are so
Cup
overcapped.
dancers.
Yeah,
Yeah, not important people.
what recasting?
Yeah.
yeah, NBC Sports 2 days ago reported a new Aaron Rodgers contract not signed yet needs to happen by next Wednesday. So I
That's
honestly
surprising.
don't know what the hell is going on there. Because
Must be
NFL.com 5
because
days
the
ago
likes
had
of-
that they agreed to terms. Like the
Yeah,
NFL website
Then I
itself.
said it, dude, because teams like Washington wouldn't have made a move for the QBs they did if Rodgers was still available.
Yeah. It's just the fact that he apparently
True.
came out himself and said, "No, I haven't signed anything. It's all lies." And you're like,
I mean,
I don't know what to
when we're
believe.
talking about QBs available.
To be fair, we know he likes to lie and mislead people, so
Yes,
maybe
that's
he
true.
did sign something.
Well, on that subject of QBs that are available, Deshaun Watson cleared of charges.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not cleared of
I need
charges.
to look into this more.
The grand
Our
jury
charges were
just
dropped, really.
the grand jury said there wasn't enough evidence for a criminal case to go to trial. Apparently, did you see the
So,
Adam Schefter getting so much shit online? Let me find his tweet.
So would he still get his suspension? Because the NFL were waiting for all this to settle down before a suspension was given.
I don't know because I don't know how that relates to the civil case. Because I think essentially he was on the stand and he just pled the fifth for like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that relates to, like, whether the civil cases are still going to go ahead.
Oh yeah, true. I don't know.
It'd be nice to see Deshaun Watson with the Cleveland Browns.
I still have trust in Baker. And like, I can't take it seriously if they have at home with Deshaun next year. Like, what does that
In
even
jail
mean?
with Deshaun. Literally definition of the dog pound.
Oh, here we go. This was Adam Schefter's tweet about Deshaun Watson. He said, "This is why Deshaun Watson, from the beginning, welcomed a police investigation. He felt he knew that the truth would come out, and today a grand jury did not charge him on any of the criminal complaints." And he was getting destroyed for that on Twitter. Because it literally sounds like he just tweeted out a statement from Watson's lawyer.
Yeah. I get
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Fuck you guys. I
No, you
said
just
what I
cut out
wanted
for
to
that
say. I don't need your
whole
response because
No,
my
you cut out for that whole
You
thing.
cut
We
out
have
for
no
the
idea
whole
what you
thing.
said.
That's fine. No one cares what
You
you guys
lit-
think about the matter.
All I heard was you going, "Okay, I found the tweet here," and then like a minute later, and it basically just sounds like it was a thing
Me
from
and
his
the
lawyer, and I was like,
listeners are
"What
having
does?"
me and the listeners are having a nice conversation. We don't need you guys.
I have to
I
wait
look
till
forward to hearing it tomorrow.
Wednesday. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't have any other news. Do you guys have any?
No,
news?
no, I'm news
No,
out.
that's all.
All right, let's move on to our F1 season preview.
Woo.
Mike has finished Drive to Survive, so he's caught up on the events of last season.
Wait,
Yes,
have you asked
that's
Mike? It's been
all.
out for 2 days.
Well, she'd finished the
I
two.
finished it yesterday.
Yeah, but he has COVID.
Well,
I spent
yeah,
all day with you yesterday and most of today. When did you watch this?
last night and Friday night
It's really bingeable,
and
Keen.
Sunday night. Yeah, it's only 10 episodes.
And they're not
I-
even an
I-
hour
I-
long.
I legitimately spent all day Friday evening with Mike, all day yesterday with Mike, and a good portion talking to Mike today, and I watched about 2 episodes in that time frame.
And it only
I-
came out on Friday. I
I haven't
uh,
even got to the new season.
I
Uh-huh,
watched
so I
a
watched-
good bit of
yeah, I watched-
pre-season testing as well, actually, the past few days, which is I've been a big
Fair.
fan of.
Oh, yeah, it's just bingeable. That's all I know.
I was saying it's good. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
You'll
was gonna
find
make
out
the
when you
joke
finish
about
season
how-
3.
Yeah, you know. Like, I was going to make the joke about how we all binged it now, but it's not funny when you have.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
it's not a joke. It genuinely that's what's
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Um. So I mean, yeah. So the biggest news out of like before preseason testing was something we discussed previously in last week's episode about Haas dropping sponsor Ural Kali, the
yeah.
fertilizer company, I think. I don't fucking know. But they were owned by Nikita, or not owned by, but Nikita Mazepin.
That's it.
His father was a huge role in it. So when they dropped
Oh,
the sponsor, the only reason Mazepin had the seat was because he was bringing the sponsor. So he was dropped. And they announced...
Yeah.
Go on, Mike.
No, because once again, I had no. I watched literally this weekend, and it's probably some of the funniest things I've seen. Just him recklessly just crashing everywhere. I'm like, oh, is that a sponsor? Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
yes, that makes some sense now.
Because
Some odd shit.
One.
But yeah, just Nikita Mazepin just crashing everywhere, and me just saying, how is he a driver? And obviously realizing it's Dan's sponsor, and him just even complaining about cars being different. Schumacher saying Schumacher's only doing better because of the car. It's like we need a. Is that going which cars?
oh my
Yeah,
god,
it's absolutely insane.
That's-
I mean, they did... an interesting thing that Haas did last year was because of their financial difficulties, they stopped developing last year's car. So they had
Yeah.
a really shit car last year, and they just focused all their development on this year's car for the new regulations. Well, I mean, seems to have worked because, you know, since we talked about it, Mazepin's been dropped, and they got back Kevin Magnussen, who I know, Keane, you said he's a shit driver, but I actually quite like him. I don't know why. He kept smashing doors. Maybe that's why. But they brought back Kevin Magnussen, and since then he's he took part in so Kevin Magnussen came in and did the quickest time in day 2 of preseason testing. Which was pretty insane. Like, their car seems like it could be promising this year.
said it once and I'll say it again. He's a lovely fella, but he can't drive for shit.
I quite like
Apparently,
it.
this is a guy about
Yeah, well, look, I could have sworn you said that earlier. No doors are safe. That's the main thing. No doors are safe when Kevin Magnussen's around. I don't know, Mike.
Has
You've
he
been
been
listening.
out for 2 years? No, 1
No,
year.
it's just the 1 year. Yeah. Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin took over last year for him and Grosjean, and now he's
Yes.
back.
Yeah, because we were talking about Mazepin only got in because of a sponsor, but Schumacher only also got in because of a sponsor. Because I
Yeah.
was watching this recently on Drive to Survive, but they wanted a German driver. There was a German sponsor who wanted a German driver, and I didn't even know. I thought that he was he was getting in because of it's a big name,
Yeah, that's
but he
fair.
had won like the Formula 2 championship and actually seemed to be doing well. So that surprised me.
He looks promising as well. Like he looked a lot better than Mazepin did last season.
I mean,
Right.
it's that hard.
It's not, but I think Mick I think set like the second fastest. He was second in the table for day 3 testing for a while.
I mean, according to Red, he's the hero for Verstappen. He's the one that set off the chain reaction that led to his win.
Oh yeah, because he was battling with Latifi.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can't have Hamilton beat his record, his dad's record.
You got to do what it takes to protect your dad's record. Simple as.
So, who is the favourite front? I assume it's still Mercedes and Hamilton.
It depends on who you ask at the moment. It looked like Mercedes kind of had a bit of issues during testing. They didn't look super fast, and Hamilton and George Russell have both been coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, we're having some issues." And Hamilton said at one point that he doesn't see them. He doesn't think they're in a position to be fighting for race wins. But this is something that Mercedes seems to do pretty much every year, where they kind of come out and they play down their car. So it'll be interesting to see where they stand next week when in the actual Grand Prix. Ferrari looks really good. Ferrari,
I'm all in on Ferrari. All in. I'll be rooting for them.
It's kind of a hard reset this year because it's new regulations. Means everyone's starting from scratch, which makes
so. What
more
are the regulations?
I actually honestly couldn't tell you what exactly the regulations are. It's about
money, isn't it?
It's so there's budget. There's tighter budget caps. I think the worst teams last year got more time in wind tunnels this year, which apparently is like a huge thing.
Oh.
And then there's different regulations around building the car. So like everyone has approached them differently. So the Mercedes car looks very different to all the other cars at the moment because they don't have any side pods. And it's going to be interesting to see who can. It's essentially a game of who can figure out what loopholes to exploit in the regulations in order to be able to go faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see kind of which way different teams are going. Some teams have been really unlucky in preseason testing. Like Haas, who missed the morning of day 1 because their cargo plane, their freight plane they were using broke down and was delayed. Williams lost out on most of day 2 because a couple of engineers fucked up and attached their brakes wrong in the morning, and they caught on something, and essentially the entire back of the car, not fully exploded, but caught on fire and something exploded. So they lost pretty much all of day 2. Danny Ricardo missed all of the Bahrain preseason testing because he was sick the first 2 days and tested for COVID on day 3. Tested positive. So he might not even be available for the race next week, which is huge for McLaren. That's a huge
so what you're saying is Ricardo out, Mazepin in?
Probably not.
I hope not. I'm a big Danny Rick fan. But it's going to be really interesting. I think it's going to be a really interesting season. At the moment, there's no standout favorite. I don't think.
All right.
Are you going to follow it this year, Mike? Are you going to watch it?
I am. I'm gonna watch as much as I can.
That's fair.
I watch the odd one. I'm definitely watching Monaco, and then the odd Sunday if I'm not doing anything else, I might stick on whatever's going.
Yeah, if it's on,
It's
I'll
good
have
fun
it on.
to watch. To be fair.
To be fair, I think I always thought that the races were a lot longer than they were.
Yeah, I used to think that as well.
Maybe because when you're a kid, your concept of time is just different.
Yeah,
That
I
is
think
very
that's
true.
pretty much it. Because my granddad used to watch it all the time, and it seemed like a race took the entire day, but actually it's just a couple of hours. Christian Horner had his first controversy already this season. We haven't even started the season yet.
Oh.
On like the first day of the Bahrain preseason testing, he was talking to it's a German publication called Amos Live. It stands for Auto, Motor und Sport. They're apparently really really reputable F1 source. And they tweeted out earlier or on the first day of preseason testing, we bump into Red Bull boss Christian Horner behind the team garage. The first trouble is already threatening. The new Mercedes violates the spirit of the regulations. For us, some parts are not legal. So it sounded like Christian Horner was already giving out about the Merc car. And then Red Bull came out and said, no, Horner didn't say that. There was no interview. And then Red Bull came out again later and said, okay, actually Horner did say that, but it wasn't an official interview. So, like, he's just gonna...
Which one of them? Did they get the factory tour in the end? Did that happen?
I actually don't know.
I don't think
Was
it was
Horner won the
Horner.
factory tour?
Horner won the Mercedes factory tour, yeah. But I think there was actually a rule in it. I was reading afterwards that team members of other Formula One teams weren't eligible to win the competition.
Yeah, they definitely put that in right at the end. They did not foresee that.
It's kind of funny though.
Oh, it's massively funny.
But yeah, I'm excited for this season.
All right, because I was thinking about this today.
Yeah.
Do you think they had to force out Drive to Survive because the Formula One wanted it released a week before the new season, which isn't a lot of time to edit a full season's worth of clips?
I don't know, because I think they usually put it out kind of around now. I think it always comes out.
Oh yeah, but like this applies to every like.
Oh yeah.
I guess it was more.
Formula wouldn't have it in their contract that they have to get it out a week before the new season.
Also, this one was everyone was talking about can't wait for season 4 purely because the ending.
Yeah.
Read
it again.
I was. I'm not gonna lie. When I was watching the last episode, because it was about that race, I was saying, "This is gonna be good." I was kind of underwhelmed. I thought I'd see more from what I saw from that exchange.
Oh, why did they not cover it that much?
They covered it, and they did a good bit of it, but I think I overhyped it in my head on what it was going to be, and it was just, okay.
Well, you watched that race last year, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, I did watch that race.
Did you have like a better understanding of what happened after watching that episode of Drive to Survive? Or do you...
As in, well, in what sense?
Like why it was such a huge controversy at the time.
I mean, I had an understanding of it after you explaining, so like I understood the lapped cars need to be, if you're going to lap the cars, all of them, not just the 5 in between.
Yeah,
there was still loads.
Yeah,
I found it really interesting to see some of the drivers' reactions at the time. Like, you could tell some of them were really confused what was happening.
Yeah, like that's what I did see. And then obviously going into what I knew watching it, I was like, oh, this does not look good
Yeah,
for
it's no wonder Michael
Verstappen.
Massey is gone.
Yeah, and then I saw the Hamilton crash again, and I keep saying, to myself, oh my god, how is he? He is so lucky to be alive.
The one in Monza.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
Did they milk it?
Not a huge amount, I
'Cause
don't think. Like not as
I
much
just
as I
finished the
expected.
episode. Literally just before we finish this, I got the episode in the last season of Roman Grosjean's fireball crash, and
Will
I
Buxton's.
I'd
There are
say they spent
moments.
about
There are
the
moments of
eight
silence
or
fall through
nine
the
minutes.
racetrack.
Yeah, that thing. 8 or 9 minutes of them just showing the fireball. I like not saying that he's dead or alive. Just 8 minutes of it. Keep replaying and showing the fireball,
Pretty
and we were
I
insane,
like,
to
mean,
be fair.
"Oh
I
yeah,"
mean,
but it's like,
it's not as bad as Hard Knocks. And here's Dak Prescott's leg broken, and again,
yeah,
and again, and now zoomed up real
there's the
close.
other angles.
Roman Grosjean actually races in IndyCar now.
Does it?
Yeah, apparently he's doing quite well. I don't follow IndyCar,
That's
so
that's nice.
Yeah.
he seemed like a nice guy. I liked him.
Just another thing. Obviously, I have your opinions of George Russell. I have my only opinions of is from John Staff. But what are your opinions of him? I hope like others see. Maybe I see he seems to be a dickhead. Am I wrong in that?
He does kind of seem to be a dickhead.
Like he doesn't get a lot of airtime on it, so I don't have any strong feelings on him.
He had a good bit. I don't know airtime, but this like that season, so all my drivers and their person are based purely on season 4. I will
Yeah.
admit that. And oh my god, he comes across as such a dickhead. I'm like, oh, I hate him. Like I just was curious: is he a dickhead? Is he liked?
I don't know. I don't have
I-
strong
he-
feelings on him.
I think he does seem like a bit of a dickhead, but at the same time, like I don't not like him, but I don't like. I'm indifferent to him, but he does seem like a bit of a dick. I was thinking about this actually
Yeah.
earlier today.
Okay,
How
so like the likes of Bottas, I thought came across better,
yeah, no,
and I was rooting for
really
him
like
the whole
Bottas.
time, even though that was one thing I felt bad. And I kept having to googling because I was like, while watching it, I was like, you go Bottas, and then I started googling, what's his contract situation? Is he good? Is he safe?
Actually, speaking of Bottas, Alfa Romeo had a few reliability issues, but people seem to think they might have a good car this year. Him and the rookie Zhao Guanyu or something. I'm not sure what his name is. How to pronounce it? The first Chinese F1 driver. But I was thinking about this earlier about how I quite like most of the drivers in F1 at the moment. I don't think there's anyone I really don't like. I either really like a driver or I'm indifferent. Which is
So you're
interesting.
different to Verstappen?
I don't like Verstappen's the exception to the rule. I actually don't. I don't like him. I do wonder how much of that, to be fair, is down to I despise Christian Horner, so I automatically just hate Red
fair.
Bull.
So then would
I'm
you
not a
hate your man
Verstappen fan.
Perez?
I actually don't mind Perez.
Or Ricardo was Red Bull, wasn't he?
Ricardo was Red Bull. Yeah.
And you liked him.
Well,
No,
I
but he
didn't
was
follow
Red Bull
when he
like
was
4
at Red
years
Bull.
ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
Like last year was my first proper year following it, and he was already at
Fair
McLaren.
enough.
But like, I like Hamilton. I'm indifferent to George. Don't like Verstappen. I like Sergio. I like the two Ferrari drivers, Carlos Sainz and
Leclerc
Charles
and
Leclerc.
Yeah.
Big fans of them. Like the two McLaren drivers, Ricardo and
No,
Norris.
Ricardo, yeah.
I like Magnussen and Mick. So two Haas drivers I like.
Yeah.
I really like Yuki Tsunoda from
Ah.
AlphaTauri.
Yes, I did enjoy him. I
Big
look
fan
forward
of
to hearing a
his.
lot more of him.
I like Pierre
We get
Gasly,
more.
to be fair. I think he got a bad rap at Red Bull. I'm indifferent to Latifi. Don't really know anything about him. At Williams, I really like Alex Albon. Really like Valtteri at Alfa Romeo. I don't know anything about Zhou Guanyu.
Alex Albon is very likable.
Who am I leaving out? Oh, Alpine and Aston Martin. I don't like Lance. Well, actually, I'm indifferent to Lance Stroll. I used to not like Lance Stroll, but I'm indifferent to him now. I think I like Vettel. I like Fernando Alonso.
No, I hate Vettel. I don't like Vettel.
Why do you not like Vettel?
I don't know. It's kind of it's strange thing. The way I put the Vettel thing was when I was watching Formula One. I was all about Schumacher, and then when Vettel was winning, there's he's going to be the next thing. So I immediately just associated with hating him, that's just grown in. It's just grown into the nicest things, and I've been like, "Oh, that is very nice." And said, "I still hate you because of the pent up aggression I had as a child."
It's understandable.
Even when he went to Ferrari, and I was like, "God damn it, Vettel, you're ruining this for me."
I think that's it.
See, the strange thing is, I don't have that issue with Alonso.
That is weird.
Like, I don't know. I guess when was Vettel. I suppose Alonso wasn't. Because Alonso was before Vettel when he had his rise to fame, right?
Yes, I think so.
So I don't know. Just something about Vettel just made it happen there. Alonso just got a free pass.
Fair enough. I like Vettel, to be fair. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one.
So how many champions are in it this year? Champions and former champions then.
Max, Lewis, Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel. I think it's just the four, is it?
Just 4.
Oh, it have to be.
I assume so, because I mean, like the last
Yeah.
8 years have been Verstappen and then Hamilton for the previous 7.
Yeah. I suppose that you had Raikkonen left this year. So it would have been 5 last. Alright.
Well, it would have been 4 last year because Verstappen didn't win.
Yeah, Verstappen.
No, yeah.
won,
Verstappen did win, yeah.
Hold on, I'm just looking up who like looking back at it. Nico Rosberg retired kind of immediately after he won, so he's not in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah, I'm looking at the others. I wouldn't notice any other names.
Jenson Button
I mean, yeah,
retired
particularly
since he won it in 09. So yeah.
I remember that the Jensen Button season where they're like, "Oh, by the way, our car is just amazing now," and Jensen Button's like, "Cool."
Nice.
Yeah, because I remember that was a shock. Because when back then when I was watching Formula, Jensmo was around, but he was always he'd be 10th, 9th. Then obviously when the year he won it, I wasn't really following, and it just came up the news he won it. I was like, "What? Good for you, Jensen, but what?"
Yeah, it was a mad year.
Did he win it with 95 points? I was just looking at it here, like the
What
points.
year did he win? What year was it?
Looking it up,
2009.
2009. Looking it up.
I'm here now.
Wikipedia has him on 95 points.
Yeah, Sky Sports have it at 95. Vettel 84.
Did they obviously changed the points after that, because it's weird to see Hamilton win it in 2008 with 98, Jensen in 2009 with 95, then Vettel for 4 years with 256, 392, 281,
Okay.
397.
Maybe they added more
They
more
must have updated the points.
more
Oh yeah, they
updated
definitely
points, and then maybe more races.
Oh, that too, actually, yeah.
Not by that amount. It looks like there was 17 races in 09 and then 19 in 2010. So like I don't think those extra 2 races caused a 150 point increase. They must have
Probably
updated the
not.
points. Anyway,
Oh, they would have to, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be a really interesting year, and I'm very excited.
I'm quite excited. Like I already have too many hobbies as it is, so I'm not gonna, not gonna be an every week thing. I hope not. I don't have the time for it, but
You just got to make the time.
I'm going to try and do a hobby half-hearted. No, I've got too much shit already that I pay attention to. Like, I genuinely don't think I have time for another. The issue is I don't do hobbies half-hearted. I'm either all in completely or I'm not in at all. So this will be an
if you want to
interesting
do
experience.
half-hearted, like Sky Sport, not Sky Sports, the Formula One YouTube channel put up highlights of qualifiers and races that are like 10-minute videos. So you get all the highlights of a race or all the highlights of qualifiers. They're very good videos as well.
I might do that.
But yeah,
Are you saying it's the 40-minute equivalent of
for
the?
the phone game.
yes, but it's only like 10
Yeah.
minutes and it's on YouTube. You don't have to go out and buy the
Oh my god!
Formula One Game Pass.
The Game Pass, the Race Pass.
Is there a
you can
Formula One
actually,
Game
you
Pass
can
or
actually
just
go out
Sky
and buy
Sport?
F1 TV, which has like a couple of different
I
things.
assume that
don't
doesn't
have
come with the games because I assume Sky is all locked up. Here.
Yeah. Assume it's just Sky.
No,
Mm.
F1 TV shows the races because it's F1's own thing.
Yeah, but
It's
not
its
like the
own
Game Pass, where
thing.
the Game Pass can't show the Sky games here. I thought that Sky would have the live broadcast locked up.
I don't think so, but I'm not 100%.
Mm.
But it's apparently like you get like the live timing, sector timing, and it gives you tons of extra, really detailed data that you can look into. But I don't have it because I just couldn't be arsed. I don't know, like
Maybe you're not all in.
watching it on Sky is fine. I quite like Sky.
So, wait, when you watch it, do you have obviously your F1 Xbox gear ready and pretend you're driving too when you see the POVs?
No, I should though. Maybe this year. Once we get in the onboards, I'll pretend to be driving.
Making the turns and all that. Maybe you'll finally learn how to race Monaco.
Hey, if there's one way to learn anyway.
Honestly, oh my god, that is actually the way to learn the tracks, is to just play the video game a couple times each week, and then you're like, oh, I know this track. These are the hard corners. Yeah, that's actually that's what I'm gonna do. Oh my god. All right, I'm in.
I like it.
For those that don't know, we've all recently bought the game. We're going to have our own league.
Ocean has
I
had a
had it
6
for
months head
months,
start.
so yeah.
Yeah, but you can't do Monaco, so I think we have an advantage.
Yeah, if
Like,
I can't
if
do
you
Monaco on a
speed
steering
Monaco,
wheel, you should try Monaco on
nobody
a
can do
fucking
Monaco.
controller. It's not happening.
We'll find out, won't we?
Alright.
I'm going to take the tortoise and the hare approach, and we'll win it that way. Slow and steady wins the race. Hope yous crash out.
That's very
Almost
fair.
definitely will. Alright. I think it's safe enough to leave it there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright. Thanks for listening.
No problem.
Fuck the system. Feed the algorithm.
What you're saying.
And remember, death comes for us all. Have a good one.